Good
Why, hello.
morning. Good afternoon, Terry.
Good afternoon, Leslie. How are you today?
I am hanging in there. That's always a loaded question for me, but
I know.
I am so glad that we have the opportunity to welcome, and we want to thank everyone for joining us in honoring Osaze's legacy. I am Leslie Lang, and the educational co-chair with me today is Terry Watson. And we
Yes,
hope that you're going to spend the next 2 hours with us. You'll share and like today's program. Reclaiming the Day, March 20th, 2019. This is the second anniversary of the tragic death of Osaze Osagie, and we honor his legacy as a son, a friend, a student, a volunteer, and a valued community member. Today, we're also hosting a virtual Art for Justice auction as a way to remember those like Osaze and to raise funds for the Osaze Osagie College Endowment Fund for high school students. We have successfully endowed the Penn State College University Scholarship, and so today all the proceeds raised and donated will go toward the high school scholarship held with our friends at Center Foundation. So bids are now permitted on our NAACP State College Facebook page. So, Terry, maybe you can drop that link to the Center Foundation in the chat for our live viewers and those on YouTube.
absolutely. I can definitely do that. So I will put that in the chat, and by all means, there it
I
goes.
think our viewers will enjoy a preview of each art piece. I believe there are 15 art pieces posted on our Facebook page. So check back frequently for the comments and the starting bids, which will now be live and open. All of the sales today are final. They are not tax deductible. So once bids are finalized, we ask that you email State College NAACP at gmail.com to arrange for your local pickup of your piece or delivery if you're local. And please make checks payable to the State College NAACP. Proceeds from the sales of these art pieces benefit the Osaze Osagie College Endowment Fund for local high school students. You, of course, may also make a direct financial contribution and donation to the Center Foundation at the link provided below. The Osaze Osagie College Scholarship was set up by the Osagie family to honor their beloved son's generosity and his giving spirit. It supports racially underrepresented college-bound students with financial need in the State College Area School District area. Like Osaze, they must also be active volunteers in the community.
Absolutely. And for those who are tuning in for the first time or who's unaware, Osaze was a 29-year-old when his life. Sorry, Osaze was 29 years old when his life was taken tragically on March 20th, 2019. He was killed by a police officer serving a 302 mental health warrant at his home. Although Osaze's life was cut short, his legacy will live on through the spirit of giving and helping others pursue their dreams of education.
Absolutely. Battling mental health challenges and autism didn't prevent Osaze from serving his community. So, supporting the endowment will provide other caring, community minded students to thrive and to grow. So, please make your generous donation of any amount right now and donate to the high school scholarship at centerfoundation.org. We can type that link in and it will pop up for you right away. So if you just go to the Center Foundation webpage and type in Osaze, Osaze, his scholarship link will pop up. So go to centerfoundation.org, Osaze Osagie's College Scholarship Endowment, and make a donation now.
And I did drop that in the chat box again, so people can definitely go there and make their donation. All right, great, Leslie. So let's begin this broadcast with our traditional Black national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Today, we are glad to feature a local talent by the name of Janelle Bullock. I think that she is, well, you'll see it for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, Janelle Bullock is a state high and a Penn State graduate. She holds a bachelor's of arts in African American studies from Penn State, and she currently teaches English online to people all over the world, like France and Taiwan and Brazil. So I think everybody will also enjoy hearing Janelle's beautiful voice right now.
And Janelle, thank you for submitting this beautiful, beautiful rendition. So, with that said, lift every voice and sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Wow.
Janelle is always such a powerful singer. I love to hear her.
Yes, I love our youth talent. I really, really do. I think that is one of the great things about being active in the community and seeing the youth and that talent. So again, Janelle, thank you so much for submitting that rendition of "Lift Every Voice and Sing."
I think next we're supposed to have a few words and a prayer offered by Pastor Vernon Davis at Unity Church of Jesus Christ and a friend of the Osagie family. Is Vernon on with us yet?
I don't see Vernon on with us yet, so
Okay,
maybe.
so perhaps I'll swap out and you can tag Lorraine in and I will go locate Pastor Vernon.
All right, that sounds good. Well, Lorraine, you're still backstage, huh? How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? Welcome, everyone. I think
Well,
it's a beautiful day.
indeed, indeed. Lorraine. So tell us what I have the State College email underneath your name. Can you give us a little insight, Lorraine, to what does this day mean to you?
Well, as the title alludes to, it's a day of tragedy, and it's a day that we're going to try to make into a triumph with this fundraiser. And so, knowing Osaze and seeing him grow up personally, it's really heartfelt for me and difficult for me to, to kind of embrace this day as we try to commemorate his memory. So, but we're surrounded by a community that cares deeply about the people in the community. And so it's extremely helpful to know that we have people that care about us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm glad you're online right now because what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the art that we are currently auctioning off, and I want uh, you to stay online and watch we take a look at this together. So, Leslie, you still there?
I am here, but Vernon says he's there. Do you not see Vernon?
I do not see Vernon unless he's hiding somewhere on stage. I do not see Vernon.
Lorraine, do you see Vernon?
I do not. Let me see if I can send him the link again and see if that.
Oh, I've sent it to his email, so hopefully he's hearing the broadcast, but perhaps he's not logged in. So I want to make a phone call so you all can show the slideshow
Okay, well,
and put
all
me
right.
backstage for a minute.
We're gonna put you backstage for a minute. Okay, that sounds good. All right, Lorraine, here we go. So we are going to open up the slideshow. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. It's somewhere. Oh, there he goes. I almost forgot what it looks like. So, all right, here we go. Now I will be able to. All right, there we go. That's more what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Okay. So we have a couple of pieces here, and I think the piece that we want to start with is the wooden mask. Let me get rid of the email from here so we can see everything. Okay. So this piece right here is a wooden mask. It's produced in Central America with a distinct African influence. It is believed that the wearer of such mask can assume the spirit of who or what the mask represents. And this is item number 14. So this is one of the items right here.
That is a lovely piece.
Yes, it is. Another one that is now I'm a huge fan of handmade baskets.
Yes.
And this one is one that was made in Uganda in 1960.
That's
So
another one. And these are some of the UU members that our artists have graciously donated these items, and we are so grateful for them for their donations and helping us with our drive today.
absolutely. Thank you so much for submitting all of these. And this one is Justice, Faith, and Unity by Viola Oakley, item number 10. Now, this is in a plastic frame. It is 22 by 28. And again, it's a montage of murals adoring the walls of the Pennsylvania Capitol building in Harrisburg. And matter of fact, talking about Harrisburg, I think we have someone from Harrisburg on today, did we?
Yes, we do. Well,
yes. Let's say Harrisburg-ish.
Yeah. And the other thing about these paintings, art too, they look this online does not do them justice. I mean, you see them in person, they are really, really nice pieces. So just keep that in mind too.
Oh yes. All right. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a short break, Lorraine, and then we're gonna resume this display of art. What we're gonna do is bring Leslie back, and we are going to also bring back Vernon. Vernon, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, I'll see you.
I had technical difficulties.
No problem. You know what? I'll tell you right now that this is what technology is all about. It's what 2020/2021 leaves us with. All right. So I'm going to let Leslie to take over and introduce.
Oh, well, you just did. That's Pastor Vernon Davis from Unity Church of Jesus Christ, and he's going to share a word of prayer and insight as a friend of the Osagie family and give us a few moments with Vernon.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Leslie. Well, let's pray. Father, I thank you. I thank you for the freedoms that we have and for the freedoms that we've experienced. Lord, I thank you for the opportunity that we have to assemble. Lord, I know that we have an agenda, but I pray that you would come, Holy Spirit, and come and envelop this meeting. Lord, we yield ourselves to you. Meet us where we are and change us into what we are to become. Father, I thank you. Just one touch from your hand will change us forever. And so, Lord, I declare, dear God, that one touch from your hand Lord, would ease and calm every troubled mind. One touch from your hand would ease and calm every troubled heart. Father, I declare that you touch this nation. I declare that you touch this city. I declare that you touch the Osagie family. I declare you touch everyone who's a part of this meeting and everyone who has tuned in. Father, touch everyone in this place. For we know, Lord God, that without you, we can't do anything. But through you, we can do all things. And we pray, come, Lord Jesus, and envelop this place so that we declare that your kingdom will come and that your will would be done. In Jesus' name, amen. I tell you, I am very honored to be a part of this. And the more and more I think about it, Terry and Leslie, those that are faith really need to join in. So for wherever unrighteousness prevails, the righteous got to stand up. And so, I really think it's important that every group of believers in the body of Christ would stand up and declare that righteousness reign in the earth. Because all this that's going on, we are not treating one another like we are children of God. And whenever that prevails, and whenever we let that pervasiveness prevail, we do ourselves a disservice, and we do our nation a disservice. And I tell you, we do God a disservice because he made us in his image. And whenever we let this kind of nonsense prevails, I tell you, we just let the enemy take a hold, and we got what we have today. And so I'm calling for every church that's naming the name of Christ to stand up and begin to declare righteousness in the earth and begin to declare God's kingdom in the earth, so that this stuff that we see right now that's separating us would come face to face with the love and the power of God and be changed. I tell you, the only way this is going to change, I'm telling you, is that the church stands up and takes a stance.
Absolutely. And we have witnessed churches standing up and taking a stance and beginning to discuss race and reconciliation matters at the pulpit and to chase away historical baggage that has been holding us back. Because there is, and it does have to happen. Those barriers have to come down. Those strongholds have to be addressed. And so thank you for calling that. We touch and agree with you, Pastor Vernon. And I know that you had the pleasure of being friends with the Osagie family. And this was a really tender time in 2019 when they lost one son. They also had another son who was getting married. And it was really hard to have that ceremony without their beloved brother and son. And I know we were there. So could you speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, I had the honor to actually perform that wedding ceremony. For Binose, and it even though that was a difficult time, I still think that it was a blessing to be able to do that for them. I cherish the Osagie family. They're loving people. I know they love the Lord, and they give of themselves, and I know that our children are very close. My oldest son and Binose are very close, and I just really kind of privileged to be a part of that family and to be a part of that wedding ceremony that they had.
Indeed, it was a lovely ceremony. It was very somber. Even though in the time of joy and everybody looked so beautiful. But I know that it was very rewarding to have all of their family members come around them and to be again and have a better reason to gather. The funeral services were also magnanimous for this state college community. And I think there were more than 500 people in attendance. And that was a service that was provided by multiple churches. And so that was really, really a wonderful day when people were united together and the churches came together regardless of denominations and spoke so highly of Osaze and his gift to the community and the church.
Another thing that too is really interesting is that there's a lot of dynamics that surround this whole gathering, and one of those things being mental health. And it's interesting how These sorts of things galvanizes people around and rallies people around a cause.
Right.
I mean, if I understand that, if the numbers are right about the number of people who suffer from mental health are right, our state is doing a disservice by not being able to meet those needs of its constituents. There's facilities are down. The help in terms of psychologists and psychiatrists are down. And this is definitely something that needs to be addressed. If
Oh,
we
absolutely.
have that many people, then we there has to be other means and methods put in place to address that situation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely. I think it was wonderful for the community to gather. Many of our members demanded that the Center County Commissioners host that open forum. I think they were surprised to see that on a Thursday night, more than 200 people showed up. They needed an overflow room, and more than 60 different families got up and shared their testimonies. I think it really helped us to push forward the demands that we made for the community to expand services for mental health, to fix the gaps and identify them. It also galvanized the borough and the county to work together to assemble that mental health task force. Things are very slow, but they are moving forward. And I hope that change and transformation is afoot. And I hope that our community benefits from the support and the resources that are being developed now.
Well,
Thank you.
Pastor Vernon, we really appreciate your blessing and your words, and everything that you continue to do for the State College community as a whole.
That's right. And keep speaking up on campus, in church, and on the community. And thank you for being a blessing to the family as well. And we send shout outs and love to them as they are recovering. And so they're supposed to be here today, but I understand that they won't be able to make it. So thank you for popping in today.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great
Bye.
day. Enjoy the rest of the broadcast, and remember to make a donation for the Center Foundation for the High School Scholarships in honor of Osaze.
Thank you, and will. Take care.
Take care. Wow, Leslie.
Well, Terry, it's good to know that our community is still pulling together. It's good to know that we have more than just the university, more than just the high school. We have organizations and we have community members and individuals who are taking a stand, who want to make a better tomorrow for each of our children. And so today, we dedicate this day for Osaze's legacy as a son, as a community member, as a student, and a friend. And so I'm happy to say that the Center Foundation has also said that our donations are rolling in as we speak. And I think we've already hit the $750 mark. Those of you just tuning into our live broadcast know that we have a $5,000 goal for 2 hours. So we need your help to move that needle. Okay, so make a direct donation or go online to the Facebook page, look at some more of that beautiful artwork that we put out together today, and make a bid on that lovely artwork.
Yes, and I will put it up on the screen so people understand our goal. It is $5,000. So indeed,
That's right. So we're going to have to try and raise that bar. We have a little over an hour and a half to go. And so we want to say thank you to Center Foundation for supporting scholarships and grants in our local community. And we're going to give a great shout out to Molly, Sierra, and Carrie over at Center Foundation. And I think Molly will be popping in shortly to give us an update on how much we've raised. But I know that we've already hit over the $700 mark. So keep it rolling in. And since today is all about Osaze, what can you tell us? Who's up next, Terry?
Yeah, well, like you said, today is about Osaze, and it seems fitting that we will have spoken word shared by at least a half dozen high schoolers today.
Yes.
I think our first one that we're going to speak with is Ty Todd. And so Ty Todd is graduating senior at State High. He is heading off to, and I love this, he is heading off to MIT and will major in electrical engineering and computer sciences. And Ty is a member of the National Honor Society, Penn State Environment Mentors, National Technical Society, and Center County 4-H Robotics Club. He is also a recipient of the 2020 Patrick Wayne Grant at State High for students' innovation and creativity. So I am so excited to see this young brother again. I had the pleasure of meeting him actually before. So Ty, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey guys,
Hi.
how you doing?
We're good, Ty. Tell us the title of your piece and why you selected to share it with us.
Yeah. So basically, I had this school project called "A Note from State College." It was inspired by Martin Luther King's letter from Birmingham jail, and so basically, like the assignment was to kind of write like a letter that's similar to a letter from Birmingham jail, but reflects some of the problems that we have in society today. So yeah, so it's called A Note from State College.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So, my fellow state collegians, do you remember the times of oppression when our government was allowed to deny people of their voting rights, employers were allowed to keep them out of the workforce, and their access to public institutions such as schools were denied? Many of you thought back 60 years ago, but the time I'm talking about was just yesterday. The seconds that pass as I write this is full of the same ancient oppression you were all thinking about. The racial segregation of Black people in America never stopped. It simply changed forms. 60 years ago, Martin Luther King wrote a similar letter from a jail cell, a cell specifically designed to silence the voice of a Black man. This cell still exists today. In fact, there are about 2.3 million of them across the US. The Civil Rights Act declared discrimination based on race was strictly prohibited. However, it doesn't care much for criminals. Rather than use what we now call illegal segregation, the system adapted to a less obvious model: restrict civil rights to criminals and criminalize Black people. It's segregation with more steps. Step 1, provide less public education for African American communities. The Civil Rights Act says you can't give less money to predominantly Black schools, but it does allow you to give less money to predominantly poor schools. Step 2, do nothing. Let the lack of education run its course. The rate of poverty increases and the violence associated with poverty turns to crime. By doing nothing, you've already accomplished half of what needs to be done. Step 3, send more law enforcement to these impoverished neighborhoods and criminalize everything they do. With more police officers, you are sure to catch more criminals. Disproportionately maximize the sentence for possession of drugs so you can send them away for as long as you want. Once they are incarcerated, you have control over their lives, more control than you would have ever had during the Jim Crow era. Make the prison system a destructive process rather than a rehabilitative one, so that even once they are out of prison, your dominance remains. Every institution they encounter don't have to refuse service or employment to a Black person. They can just refuse it to an ex-convict. My fellow state collegians, we are living in a new era of discrimination, and it is up to us to decide whether we allow it to continue any longer. Do we decriminalize drugs or allow for families to be torn apart by our prison system? Do we invest in the education of our most vulnerable children or allow the violence of poverty to run rampant through our community? Lastly, do we reform our prisons to be rehabilitative spaces or allow the cycle of mass incarceration to ruin the lives of so many? Thank you. That's all.
That's excellent, Ty. Wow, that was a brilliant note from State College. I think that was a clever assignment, and I think you did it well, reflecting the issues. Criminalizing Blacks still occurring today, providing less education even when we think we're getting more, increasing police presence. And yeah, segregation has changed. Pastor Vernon has often caught at church talking about what Dr. King said about 11 o'clock on Sunday mornings are still segregated. And yeah, this is a new era of discrimination, and we are all calling for reform. So it's glad to hear your voice as a high school student, advocating as a peer advocate in other ways, and participating in educational competitions, and winning those wonderful awards. These are all part of the reform that we need.
And and and, and brother, good luck as you take on your next endeavor here at MIT. I'm so excited for you.
MIT!
Yeah.
We
Yes,
are
indeed.
definitely excited about that. So thank you, Ty, for sharing your wisdom, your words, and your commentary today. And we wish you all the best and success that's coming your way at MIT. This is pretty exciting. Even though it's during a pandemic, it doesn't take away from what you've achieved so far. And we're so proud of you. State College is proud. We are proud of Ty. So thank you, Ty.
Thanks for having me too.
Have a great day. Well, if you're all watching our broadcast today, we are fundraising for high school scholarships for brilliant minds just like Ty Todd. So go and make your direct donation today by logging online to Center Foundation and type in the word Osaze, and you will see the scholarship and be able to do that.
I'm going to put in the chat boxes for good measures.
Yes,
Well,
I really appreciate that.
speaking of brilliant minds, we have a student organization at Penn State called Active Minds. And I have been fortunate to be the faculty advisor for this Penn State chapter for about 10 years now. So I asked our current president, Jordan, who is majoring in psychology, a senior, to join us to talk about Active Minds and why it's so important to deal with the stigma that is faced with mental health. So with that said, Jordan, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Jordan, as well, Jordan, I know you pretty well already. So I want to give you a chance to tell a little bit about yourself and why you're involved with Active Minds.
Yeah, for sure. I joined Active Minds when I was I would say I was a sophomore, and I was at a difficult time in my life, and I think Active Minds really helped me a lot. And they really help you see why it's so dangerous to stigmatize mental health the way that we do. We are getting a little bit better at it, but I think the dangers of it, we've seen with Osaze, is that it creates this barrier between people who don't understand and people who live through it. So with Osaze, it's that communication between people who have experienced it. And I think the one way we can actually break down that barrier is just to give out more information. I think Active Minds is really helping bring out more information about mental illness and about, having that information out there, about mental illness like we do, sometimes it's schizophrenia, sometimes it's about, we did eating disorders, we did a lot of different mental illnesses. And I think having that information given to, especially people that are young,
Right,
can actually help, not only inform people so that when they see it, that they can say something about it or they know what to do about it, but also the fact that, they can tell to other people and that information can spread around. So that's what Active Minds is really helpful.
right. And the coolest thing about Active Minds is it was started by a young person, right? It started because a young man died by suicide, and his sister was like, why aren't people talking about this, right? Why no one's discussing this mental health issue? So Jordan, when you think about first of all, let me remove the tag that says Ty Todd from. I just noticed that. So as you think about Active Minds and stigma, what are some of the things that you hope our society will take from getting rid of the stigma and being more engaged in the conversation about mental health? Like, what are you hoping our society will do in the future?
I hope we have more things like Active Minds, like more mental health spaces so that people can hold conversations about things like, mental health and stuff like that. But also just create like a world where we're not, first of all, afraid of mental illness. We can talk about it freely without having to feel like it's taboo, and just other ways of handling it better. A lot that has happened over the last summer, with the police and things like that. And I would love to see like more mental health cases be taken care of by mental health people. So I think that would really help make people feel safer
Absolutely. That's correct, Jordan. And we need you wonderful students in that club to join us with the push for reform. I need you all to show up at that commissioners county meeting on Tuesday mornings and say, yes, we need mental health specialists to lead those co-responder units, to answer those calls, especially when they're 302 warrants. We need to demystify the spectrum of mental health concerns that all of us face with our families, with our children, in our community. Some one of us, each of us have experience in different ways. And unless we get our voices heard, and unless we start changing the culture that surrounds it, and to free ourselves, like you said, we have to be active minds and we have to be free to discuss our differences and how they show up. We have a commentary that we will share a little later from Cynthia Young that speaks to this very issue. And I think, respectfully so, I think most of our police officers would agree that they don't want to serve those warrants. It's just become a common practice, and that practice can change, and we need their help to do it. So reform is definitely where it's afoot. We need to expand those services and get the specialists who can actually help to de-escalate a situation, who can deal with the neurodiversity, who can talk to people, and be compassionate to people rather than wave a weapon at people.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Joy, I'll give you some final words and final thoughts about mental health, and take it away.
I just want everyone to just check in on yourselves, check in on other people, and just make sure that there are people, you never know who's going through something. So just try to be kind and just try to be understanding as possible, and try to treat people with respect when it comes to mental illness, because, someone like Osaze and other people could have really needed that in that moment. So just, just be a little bit more thoughtful.
Absolutely. Let us all endeavor to lead with empathy and compassion and respect. Thank you, Jordan.
Jordan, thank you so much, and I'll see you on Tuesday night.
I'll see you. Thank you.
See
Great.
ya.
And remember to tell your friends, support these wonderful scholarships. We have endowed the Penn State Scholarship, but students who are underrepresented financially and racially need our support today. And we're calling on people to make generous donations to the high school scholarships to help brilliant young minds go to Penn State, MIT, and follow their dreams of academics and attaining a degree. Thank you again, Jordan. Have a great day.
See you,
You
Jordan.
too. You too.
Bye-bye.
I think next up, Terry, we have Lorraine Taylor, our State College NAACP chapter president, who's going to come on, and she's bringing a guest with her. I think we have the president, Kenneth Houston, who is also from the Allegheny chapter, and I look forward to hearing what they have to say. So while we are bringing on Lorraine and bringing in Kenneth, I want to remind everybody to go to the Facebook page, check out those 15 pieces of art, post your bid. It's now open to bid for that artwork. Take home a lovely piece of art. You will see beautiful inspirations. We'll show that slideshow again, but those pictures are actually posted on the State College NAACP Facebook page. And you can like, share, and subscribe. Or you can go directly online to the Center Foundation and click for the scholarship donation today and help us reach that $5,000 goal. We got 2 hours. So actually we have an hour and a half left, an hour and 20 minutes left.
Hour 20 to be exact.
to make that goal. And I think we've hit the $1,000 mark. So after Kenneth, I'll bring Center Foundation back and we'll get a word from them for our totals. Okay, so take it away, Lorraine and Kenneth and Terry, and you'll send me away and I'll go visit with Center Foundation.
Thank you so much, Leslie and Terry. I am just so happy that Terry and Leslie is part of our NAACP family. As you can see, they are the dynamic duo. So without further ado, I want to introduce our PA president, Kenneth Houston. Kenneth Houston is the founder and president of Houston Trust Company. He is currently director of community affairs and external relations for the Specialized Education Services through the Catapult Learning, Inc., in which he covers 7 states in the eastern United States. The new Pittsburgh Courier named Kenneth Houston one of its 50 men of excellence in 2011. And Kenneth currently serves as president of the NAACP, and he covers several municipalities. And we want to welcome and thank you for coming, President Houston. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing well, and I apologize. I'm in my car, and I am driving on the way to church. But thank you very, very much for having me on the show. Just for complete transparency, I am the Pennsylvania State Conference president of the NAACP as well. So I'm excited to be here today and excited to be with you guys.
Yes, well, welcome. Well, can you give us a little brief about what are your title and what exactly do you do for the PA NAACP?
Well, my title, I serve as president. I was elected in October of 2019. I oversee approximately 66 branches and chapters, and we have an estimated 19,000 members in the state of Pennsylvania. I am I guess you would say, the chief spokesperson for the state NAACP of Pennsylvania. It is my job to form branches that fall under our jurisdiction and work with those units as we
Are you
fight.
are you still there?
I think it's cutting it out.
Hello.
I think Brother Kenneth's internet is cut out. It's just technology land.
That's the fun part. That's what makes it fun and exciting. Are you back, President Houston? You know, it reminds me of that commercial. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Well, Kenneth, if you can hear me, the one thing you might want to do is shut off your video and then shut it back on, because that might help recharge the internet speed.
Let me see. See if I can.
I'll remove and then add it back to screen.
Let's
Okay. Hello.
Oh, there we go.
see. Oh, okay, great.
Hello, can you hear us?
Oh, maybe that was the phone.
All right, so maybe we will have to come back to Kenneth in a second.
Yeah, can you log back in?
Well, whilst they get that up and going, I'm going to ask you, Leslie, do we have any more arts that we can show until we get Kenneth back and rolling? Oh, wait. I think we might.
Yes,
Kenneth,
I think we can. Up, is Kenneth
Okay.
back?
oh,
Yes,
there
can
we
you hear
go.
me?
Yay!
Yeah.
Technology works sometimes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. So you were telling us, can you give us like an overview of some of the things that are happening around the state of Pennsylvania in terms of the NAACP?
Well, there is a lot going on across the state of Pennsylvania with the NAACP. Actually, I will be in Philadelphia the whole week, next week, Monday through Thursday. We are working in partnership with Rite Aid.
You're cutting out again. Hello.
Yeah, it looks like the. Hold on. I think he dropped. Okay. Well, we could get him back on a little bit later if need be. Lorraine and
Okay.
Leslie, welcome back to the stage.
Hi, I think there's a little difficulty, so maybe Lorraine would be able to jump off and go check the Facebook page for the bidding. I'm not sure.
Sure.
Janet seems to seem that there's a little problem with the artwork bidding. But what we can do, I think Molly is here with us. So Molly and I could chat about the Center Foundation direct giving right now. Do you see her?
I see Rich backstage. Is that?
No, we hold on to Rich. We should see Molly. Molly from Center Foundation.
I do not see Molly.
Okay, then we'll wait for her. But she's got some good news to share with us.
All right.
And I think I want to give a couple shout outs for some good news that we have. I want to thank Tamika Townsend. I want to thank Curtis Price. I want to thank our pal Benjamin Jones and Felicia Prasado. I think they all have brought us up and over the hump. So I think we're fast approaching $2,000.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Nice.
So thank you for those contributions. Keep them coming in. Please go directly to Center Foundation online and make a donation.
Well, Kenneth, how you doing, brother? Kenneth?
We're going to
Yes,
try a
yes,
third attempt. Hello, Kenneth.
yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. I'm not the most technologically savvy individual, but I said, okay, let me attempt to do something to get back on. So I had spoken, and I don't know how far I had gotten. I know Ms. Taylor had asked me what we in the NAACP, in particular in the state of Pennsylvania, what are we doing across the state? And as I mentioned, I will be in Philadelphia for the whole week next week, Monday through Thursday, where we are in partnership with the Rite Aid Corporation to distribute 2,000 doses of the vaccine. Um, we're going to be at the AFL-CIO location on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday and Friday, we're going to be at what's called the Kroc Center, Salvation Army, and we will be doing the donation of vaccines there as well. And then we're going to be in the central part of the state where we will do another 2,000 doses of vaccination. And then in Pittsburgh, on April the 10th, we will do another 2,000 in partnership with the Rite Aid Corporation.
Well, that sounds exciting. I think many people are split, but we're glad to be in the community helping with those who can facilitate the vaccines. I think
Yes.
Lorraine had noticed or mentioned some of your wonderful accolades and the work you've been doing in Pittsburgh and the recognitions that you've been receiving. So I'm hoping that you can share a little about that community work.
Well, I've been in civil rights for over 25 years. I cut my teeth at the McKeesport branch of the NAACP, where I served in the youth component. And then I went on to become the Director of Employment and Entrepreneurial Development with the Urban League of Greater Pittsburgh, where I served for 9 years in that capacity. So I have been a strong advocate in civil and human rights for quite a while. I think the grade tells it. But I have always and will always, until I take my last breath, fight for civil and human rights for people of color, particularly, and Black individuals exclusively. So I've been working quite a while.
Well, thank you so much, Kenneth. We were so appreciative of you joining us today. And we hope that you'll visit our State College NAACP chapter once these social distancing restrictions are lifted.
Yes.
Yes.
And can you leave us with one of the our theme for today is tragedy and triumph. Can you leave us with some of the triumphs that you've experienced working in NAACP that you would like to share, some of the victories we've had?
Well, I think one of the greatest triumphs that we experienced in this last general election was the Pennsylvania State Conference was involved in several
All right, I think we lost Kenneth again. We're going to have to ask Kenneth if he would just email us a statement. We will gladly read it and close that out. And I'm sad we missed the triumphant statement, but I think for the sake of our broadcast,
Yeah,
we're going to move on. And
Yeah.
Lorraine, perhaps you can just send him a quick note
absolutely,
and ask him just to email it to us, and we'll read it, what his statement is to close out before we close.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And next, I think we were talking about mental health, and we were talking about the vaccinations, and we were talking about Pittsburgh. But as we still seek to reflect on Osaze and his service to our community, we have a special guest with us today from Strawberry Fields. Strawberry Fields is another one of our local champions and resources for our children and our young adults with intellectual disabilities. And it was started years ago by group family members on a farm in like 1972. Their current CEO, Cindy Pasquinelli, is wonderful. She's out of town today, but she has sent Rich Gadsby, one of her fabulous staff members, to join us today. So let's welcome Rich.
Welcome, Rich.
Thank you. I want to thank Leslie for inviting Strawberry Fields to participate in this event to honor Osaze. As she said, my name is Rich Gadsby. I've been working for Strawberry Fields for over 30 years now. For those of you who aren't familiar with our agency, Strawberry Fields is a local nonprofit that serves over 380 individuals with mental health and developmental disabilities here in Center County area. We serve infants and toddlers with developmental delays through our early intervention services, where we have physical and speech therapists and teachers go into families' homes to coach the parents to do activities with the children that will help them to overcome those delays. We work with adolescents, teens, and adults who have behavior and mental health needs through our blended case management services. For this service, we have staff that go into our homes, schools, and communities to meet with the individuals that we serve to assess the areas of needs that they have, and then to link them with service providers to help them meet those needs. The areas of need can include physical care, psychiatric care, financial, housing, educational, employment, and legal issues, to name some of them. Once we connect with these service providers, we're able to stay open with them and to monitor their progress, and then continually assess what additional needs may arise and to link them with additional service providers to help them meet those needs. Probably the biggest part of what we do is that we provide residential support to adults and mental health with mental health and intellectual disabilities through our 14 group homes. In our group homes, we are able to address those same areas of needs, but in a more hands-on way. For the mental health,
That's great. Yes, Rick. Rich, could you tell us a little bit more about your residential component, perhaps in a way that shares with the community how you help your clients overcome these hurdles of every day, navigating jobs, navigating the market, learning skills and volunteering in our community?
Yeah, in our group homes, the mental health group homes are considered a transitional living type situation. So we have staff that will meet with those individuals on a daily basis. They'll develop goals that address the areas of needs that they have. So if it's employment, for instance, we may work with them in regards to developing resume writing skills or practicing for interviewing techniques, going out and filling out applications. If it may be physical health needs, we will accompany them to doctor's appointments. We'll have them come up with a list of questions that may need to ask the doctor ahead of time. And we have a lot of clients that experience anxiety and struggle to get their words out in regards to what their needs may be. So those are the type of things that we'll do with them to help develop those skills so they can then in the future move out and to be independent in the community.
I think that's a wonderful point, and I think it speaks and reflects back to Jordan, who was an active student and who talked about engaging people with mental illness and raising the bar so that the stigma doesn't, ruin their lives and prevent them from achieving their dreams. And I think I had the fortunate privilege a couple of years back, I think probably it was early 2019 in June. I had invited Cindy and a group of students and panelists of clients to be at our diversity conference. And they did an amazing panel. And we were so glad to have them share their experiences, their rich experiences. Even our Good Day Cafe experiment has thrived. And it's such a wonderful opportunity to have it in the community, to have them be able to serve and actively participate. Do you have any reflections to share with us about Osaze?
Yes, through my work, I had worked in the mental health area of our agency for a number of years. Osaze resided in our residential program. As many other people have said, I found Osaze to be very soft-spoken, personal, and a very caring individual. One of the things that we would do in our group homes is we would have a support group, and we would also ask consumers if they were interested in researching self-help topics, for instance. And Osaze definitely stepped up a number of times, would research topics, and he would actually act as a facilitator for our group activities. And he would help draw out what other people had to offer in regards to helping each other out too. So that was definitely something that he helped others in that way a number of times.
I think that's really wonderful. Thank you for sharing that brief memory with us. And I want to know if you have any other remarks that you'd like to leave with us before we go.
I have to say that the strongest memory I have about Osaze too was his smile. Regardless of what kind of mood I was in at the time, anytime I entered a room where he was, or he entered a room where I was, he always had the biggest smile. He would ask me how I was doing, and regardless of what kind of mood I was in at the time, that kind of definitely melted away, and I would feel very calming and enjoyed the conversations I had with him at those times.
Absolutely. Well, then I know I can count on you to go to Center Foundation and make a donation today in Osaze's memory. We are raising funds today for high school students just like Osaze. He went to high school and he wanted to pursue his education. He started at Penn State. He was unable to complete that degree, but he never stopped learning and he never stopped serving his community. And we want to remember and honor that legacy today. So we have a goal of $5,000 in less than an hour to go, and we are almost halfway there. So I think a lovely donation. We can drop that link again, Center Foundation, type in the words Osaze, and you'll be able to contribute to wonderful students. And we have some other high school students who will share with us. But thank you, Rich, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And all the best and success for Strawberry Fields in the future. Thank you.
Thanks.
Terry, we are riding right along. We have gone through hour one. Is Molly on yet from Center Foundation?
I do not see Molly on yet.
Oh, Molly, you're killing me. I get these good news texts saying we hit 700, we hit 1,000, we hit 1,250. Come on, Molly. I want to hear. I think we're there. I want to get to halfway. It's 1 hour to go. I need you all to move that needle. Go directly online and go to Center Foundation. And please make your pledge or your donation today at Center Foundation. And let's raise those funds. I want to send a good thank you and a shout out for the Shouties. They are a high school or a college group or mixed alumni of State Area High School District, and they too have made a donation today. So our students are busy, they're plugging. I hope you all will like, share, and subscribe to the State College NAACP, our live events. I think this is our 5th one. So the COVID pandemic has not slowed us down, Terry Watson. We are online, we are active, and we are with our community. And so we're going to try to move ahead as best we can. How about, Terry, can you just bring up the slideshow again of the art real quick?
Yes, we could.
We
need to get to the whole list. So that's a good time to do this, actually.
Yes.
So looking at this list, this is where we left off at.
Great. That was the poster. That was Justice, Faith, and Unity by Violet Oakley. And so we have some dimensions listed. These pictures are posted on the State College NAACP page. What's next up?
Yes.
Go with me. We have a wonderful hand-carved African woman.
Yes. Looks like it's dark hardwood. Nice.
Yes, very nice. And carved in West Africa, I believe. So that's wonderful. And it actually has a hook on the back, so it's easy for display. Next.
Oh, too fast. Now this one. The abstract black dances. I remember the first time I saw this picture, I was like, this one, I might have to put my bid in for this one myself.
I would appreciate that, Terry. I'll take your donation right now. I made mine bright and early this morning, making sure that link was up and over.
Now this one is a beauty. It's 16 by 20. It is in a wooden frame. But as you can see, this was one of those spectacular art pieces that I think if fit in anyone's home. So, all right. Then the next one we had here, Leslie.
Yes. Oh, the Cocopellis, the Cocopelli dancers. Those are really great. I think that's a lovely piece. I want to think that it's hand embroidered and it has a wood frame. Many of these wonderful things have art pieces have been donated and they are in lovely condition. So if you too like Cocopellis, come and put a bid on the Cocopellis. You too could take it home and
Yes.
help us with our scholarship fundraising today. What's next?
That's Cocopellis. All right. This is The Closed Hole by Rockwell Kent. This is a design originally appeared in a chapter of the book North by West, illustrated in 1930.
That's
Uh,
crazy. Who could part with that? An original etching and an
yeah,
ink piece? Are you kidding? That was in the book Northwest? What? That's
nice.
crazy. That's a lovely piece. Thank you for whomever donated that one.
Yes.
Next.
Next.
Oh, jazz cooking from 1987. Who doesn't like a little New Orleans jazz? I
No,
think that's a nice poster, a framed poster to hang in your home or your
I have
basement
a
or your
lot.
desk.
I have a lot of jazz art in my house right now, and so I am a huge fan of jazz art. Even one of the pieces, I can't remember the artist's name now, but it's on Good Times where they're doing this.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a great one. We don't have that piece, but we do have this one. So Jazz is Cooking in 1987 by George
Indeed,
Luttrell. Thank you. And what's
indeed.
next? Oh, this was
Oh,
a lovely piece. This is an autumn scene. I think it's from the Impressionist era, and it's lovely. Folks who maybe just like art for art's sake would enjoy having this piece about this autumn. It's very peaceful. Thank you.
yes. And woman praying.
Yes, it's always good to pray. And we had Vernon. Maybe Vernon was interested in purchasing this woman who's praying to remind us all. I think that would be really great. So I think that's helpful to have her. And she's a large print in the frame. I think she's 13 by 17. And just remember that any of these posters you can have reframed and rematted any way you'd like, but they came donated and they're already framed. So please go online to the Facebook State College NAACP Facebook page where we're live broadcasting and type in your bid. Just reply to whichever picture you're interested in. And at the end of today's program, the State College NAACP will respond to who has won each piece. If you have not had a chance to bid, because I understand there are technical difficulties today of all days, we will ask you that you can go to our email and we will keep these posted and the art will be available for you to bid on until the art is gone. So even if our broadcast ends, you can still place a bid on the Facebook page for any of the 15 pieces of artwork, and your purchase of those items will still go to help the scholarship fund. Thank you. What's the next photo? Oh, this was a special one. Janet said this was really great. It's America's National Parks. And in this little piece is 16 more prints. So you can take out the ones that you like and post and frame and mat them yourselves. They're
Yes.
gorgeous. Mhm.
And then it's the Two Lovers Meet.
Oh, yes. This is Australian, right? Our Aboriginal art, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Aborigines. Yes. Yes. And this is a 18 by 22 for those who need to know the size. Yes. Is this one also in the frame too? Yes, in the rustic frame as well.
It is. And just remember, if those frames, you can always take them out and customize them to your home. Maybe you'd like a blue mat around that and you'd like a black frame around that. You can choose to redesign that and amp it up in your own house or prepare it and give it as a gift. So make your donations. Thank you so much. What's next?
Yep.
Oh, I love this piece. Savita donated this piece. So this is an actual hand-carved wooden salad bowl, not a photo of the salad bowl, with two servers. And they have beaded decorations on the handles. So it's very beautiful and hand-carved.
And,
I think
and
she
on
said
the
it came from
spoons
South
too.
Africa. Cape Town? Yes.
Yep, Cape Town, South Africa. And there's beads on the actual wooden spoons themselves. So it's
Yes.
yeah, indeed. I think that
It's a
might be it.
lovely decorative piece. Oh, and this is the big piece of the day. Okay, this is called Victory. And this is a bust. It is a big, full 28-pound bust. It is beautiful. I think you can read that description for me better, Terry, because I can't see it on my end.
This brown, wonderful woman was created to recognize brown and black women in the journey. And it's been signed by the artist too. So two things, if you go to get this piece, it is 28 pounds. So you
And
might
she
want
will
to
be beautiful. She will be bronze, and she will remind you of victory in your home. I believe the
yes,
opening bid on that one is hand carved and it's autographed by the
artist.
artist.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
So thank you very much for that donation. We look forward to seeing that go on today's Art for Justice auction. Terry, I think Molly should be on now. Can we bring her on really quickly for a total?
Don't see Molly,
How
but
can you not see my Molly? Oh my goodness. Well,
I don't see
I
Molly.
know that she sent me a brilliant text that we just hit $3,000.
Uh-oh. You said what? Oh, okay. I gotta put this up there. We hit.
So
You
we're
said
more than
3,000.
halfway. Where's my fist?
I don't know about the fist, but I'll give you this right here. We hit 3,000.
That's right. Thank you for the we hit 3,000. You are moving that needle, everybody, in state, college, and abroad. We want to shout out to those wonderful folks who are on with us. I want to shout out to Dan Dorsey. I want to shout out to Dan Nold. And I want to thank my family at Calvary Church for their donation too, bringing us up to that $3,000 threshold. So thank you for those contributions. Go to centerfoundation.org and make your pledge today. Our donations are live and they are streaming in. We have an hour to go and we have $2,000 more to make. So come on and help us. There's my wonderful fist. Whoop, whoop.
That's what you're
You're
looking for.
halfway
There we go.
there.
We're halfway
Come
there.
on, I think we can fill that for us. I look forward to that today.
Can
Let's
I
see what
ask
we have.
who designed the fist?
Oh, my friends at Center Foundation gave us that, Sierra. So shout out to Sierra who
beautiful.
gave us a powerful image. I asked for a thermometer that could measure our progress, and she gave me a beautiful fist. So
That
we're
is
standing in solidarity
fantastic.
with our high school students, with those battling mental illness, with those adjusting to their academic and dreams and their endeavors. And so we want to support them. And we are so
Absolutely.
happy to be honoring Osaze today.
Absolutely.
As a student, as
absolutely.
a community member, as a son, and as a friend. And so we
Well,
thank you for
Molly,
remembering his beautiful smile too, Rich, right?
maybe Molly can give us a quick update. Molly, tell us how are we doing, by the way?
Welcome, Molly!
Hey, good afternoon. I made it.
You did!
Yeah.
So good to see you guys.
Thank you for joining us today.
You guys are
Thank
doing
you for all your support.
Oh, absolutely. We are so excited. You guys are doing such a great job today. This effort's going well, and we're just really excited to be part of the whole process and to do, kind of work with you and everybody else to honor Osaze and just, it's just a great day and lots of great events and people joining in. It's really inspiring to see. So as of this point, the latest update just a minute or two ago is so far you've raised $3,700. So you are way working, really getting close to that goal. You can really, I think, and we've got time, definitely going to make that $5,000 goal. So we just need to keep up the energy, everybody. So.
Oh,
We
that's
will.
fantastic.
Thank you so much, Molly, for the good news, and we'll check back with you in another 20 minutes.
Absolutely. I'll be around. Thanks.
All
Thank
right.
you. All right.
3,700.
3,700. Thank you. My community members coming up and showing up for our high school students and our scholarships today. Thank you so much. As I mentioned earlier, we had hoped to have Ayun and Sylvester both join us today on the second anniversary of Osaze's passing. But sadly, they are both ill. And so we pray for their recovery this morning. And we want to continue on. And we have a brief clip, I think, a remembrance clip from the summer rally. And maybe, Terry, if our technology is cooperating, we could share that for a moment.
I think that's one part of technology that will continue to work. So indeed, I can. So enjoy this quick summer clip. Say that 3 times fast. Quick summer clip. Wow.
Excellent. Thank you for
Well,
sharing that. Mhm.
indeed, indeed. That was a very powerful. You know, it's interesting because Leslie, you and I, we have gone to some of those protests and some of those meetings in regards to finding justice for Osaze. And so, I think as a father, and I could never want to put my mindset to what it would be like to bury a child, but to see that triumph that the community has brought forth over the past 2 years, through the protests, through the activism, through the push for legislative change, even having the mental health board, the community oversight board. I mean, it's nice to see how something like this tragedy could move our community to triumph as our
Exactly, Terry. We have been making moves. A lot of people things haven't been changing, but we have been really busy. We have been staunch advocates. We have been showing up in places consistently and powerfully in numbers. Our fellow 320 Coalition folks, they're out there today and they're also celebrating honors and honoring Osaze's legacy. And so we have been moving the needle forward. We have been getting fire under the borough and under the community and under the State College Police Department and in our county. And we talked about how our local groups, right? The high school
Mhm.
has a mental health group. The college has an active minds group. We
Right.
have our local community services too. We just talked about those dealing with mental illnesses or crisis, and the neurodiverse. We talked about our local community just put together Center for Community Resources. They
Right.
provide adult programs, including pre-vocational programs and adult training facilities, in addition to intellectual developmental support for those with disabilities and coordinate services for them. And they have new open cases. If you have an open case, they can help you with locating and coordinating and monitoring services and improving the quality lives of your loved ones. And so we hope that our community members will see this. They will begin talking about it. They will research their resources and they will reach out for help. And we can keep talking about how we as a community are supporting mental health and expanding those services. I do have a note that came in from one of our wonderful local state college advocates and parents. And I'd like to share that with you now if I could take a minute since we are waiting for our next guest to come on. Would that be
Mhm.
possible?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. And who are we? Who? I need some water today. Who is the lovely person that shared their note with us today?
Okay, I'm trying to pull that up right now since we're a little bit out of our running order. So give me just a moment um, to pull that up. In the meantime, you
And,
can remind people to bid on
and
those wonderful art pieces.
well, I will also say to people, like and share this because the more people who's watching, the more opportunities we have to raise funds. So if you're watching this, please take this time to like and share this so other people can see that we are trying to raise funds for a very important cause. Again, we are remembering the legacy of Osaze, and we are talking about tragedy to triumph. So, and yes, Leslie, I can absolutely put in the link again, so people know where to go.
Great, thank
Uh,
you so much. And the note comes from Cynthia Young. Dr. Cynthia Young also was supposed to be with us today and is under the weather. So this pandemic is kicking our butts. The amount of stress that people are under right now, and our immune systems, we're fighting as best we can. So we'll be patient, but I'm so glad that she made this submission today, and I'd like to read it. So it says, I'm honored that you asked me today to provide reflections on neurodiversity and mental health for this event that is honoring the life and mourning the death of Osaze Osagie. Osaze's murder hits very close to home for me because I am a mother of Black boys and the wife of a Black man, all of whom are neurotypical. Like Osaze, they have ADHD. I have always known that white people do not see my Black children as children. My younger boys was suspended from preschool at the age of 4. My older boy spent much of his first grade sitting outside of the classroom at the principal's office for so-called infractions for which they were punished were always trivial. Refusing to follow a request or participate in an activity could often get them exiled from the classroom for hours at a time or even sent home. Until her oldest son turned 6, she suspected but did not know that he had ADHD. And he knew that he had a hard time sitting still like other children, but she also knew that he could read at the age of 4, and he spoke at the age of 1, and he was generally happy and a hilarious kid. Her younger son took a little longer to show signs of ADHD, but by then she knew what to look for. She never gave much thought to what it might be like to be a parent of a child with a learning or behavioral difference. In fact, it took a long time before she even knew or thought that her boys were differently abled. Cynthia remarks that she knew that their race would make them targets, but an ADHD diagnosis made her realize that ADHD would also make them targets. Both her boys got into trouble for behavior that was a direct result of their ADHD, and though having an IEP or a 504 has helped, and the teachers and the paras routinely attribute their defiance or inconsistent behavior to their personalities rather than their disabilities. If this is true for trained educators, how much truer is this for police officers who have mere seconds to make a judgment on whether a Black child is a threat or whether a Black child is worthy of their care and consideration? She remarks and says that Black people are often denied the care and benefit of consideration due to their disabilities. And this is also true for all mentally ill and disabled people. If you're mentally ill, your whiteness cannot protect you from the police violence, she exhorts us to remember. According to the study, she says, Rudderman Family Foundation says 33 to 50% of all use of force incidents between 2013 and 2015 involved disabled people. And that's a low estimate. As a Black woman who studies race and racism, Cynthia says she is well aware that society has set up to protect white people and their property. She knows that her son's lives will not be valued by police officers and that police cannot see them in all of their beauty and complexity. And in any encounter, police will not see the boys as fragile or struggling or in crisis, but they will begin to see them as a threat. What always has haunted her about Osaze's murder is the fact that his parents knew what she knows now, and they knew that every Black parent knows, and yet they had to seek help because there was no other choice. They had to choose between their fear that their son might harm himself or that the police might indeed harm him. What a terrible choice to have to make. How do we choose between two outcomes that will lead to the same place, injury or death of a beloved child? How devastating must it be to realize that one's personal relationship with the police and the fact that we live in a small protected town and that the fact of the State College Police have never murdered anybody before this, that the police knew Osaze was in crisis, and yet none of this seemed to matter. None of it saved Osaze's life. His disability did not save him, nor did it elicit any mercy or understanding as the police responded exactly as they would have if it had been an armed bank robber, not just a young man in his home in crisis. In fact, their lethal response may have been heightened because they knew that he had autism and mental illness. Maybe they saw him as unpredictable or inherently dangerous. When Cynthia looks into the face of her boys, and when she tries to explain to them how careful they must always be in every public situation, when she tells them that they cannot expect the police to protect them, she does so hoping that her words will somehow shape their behavior. And yet, it's unfair, and it's an unfair expectation that a 10 and a 12-year-old who have ADHD should be divined by their inability to control some impulses. They live in a country that divests from mental health services, and they outsource instead mental health treatment to untrained police officers. And we all have to accept that. And like Osaze's parents, we may all also be faced with untenable choices between boys harming themselves or being harmed by the police. Cynthia says that choice haunts her every day. It makes her grateful for the work that so many of us are doing in the 320 Coalition and in the NAACP and outside of these organizations, community members who are indebted to make reform and create difference. And she hopes that it will ensure that Osaze's death will change the public perception and change police behavior, and that this is an urgent task that all of us can and must do. So thank you,
Wow.
Cynthia, for that powerful statement. I think that wraps up the issue very beautifully
Yes, it does.
and concisely.
And that's very, it is sort of, it opens one's mind, right, to what parents, especially parents of color, think about when they are raising their kids in any community, but especially ones that are supposed to be safe.
Absolutely. We're supposed to be safe, work, school, neighborhood, and home. We don't expect to call the police and ask for help transporting a loved one to a hospital for evaluation, only to hear that they never made it to the hospital because they got shot in their home. So let's work together to bring about reform. Let's honor Osaze's legacy and support students with neurodiversity and mental health issues. And let's give them a caring and compassionate community that builds resources and assigns the appropriate specialists to handle and de-escalate situations so that they can get the help they need and deserve to function and achieve their dreams. So go online and donate to Center Foundation today and help support these wonderful scholarships for wonderful students like Osaze who pursue the dream of education despite their disabilities.
And
I think,
do we have a clip from Calvary as well?
I do have a clip from Calvary, and they just made a wonderful donation. Can we bring up that clip and see what Dan Nold has to say?
Yes, indeed, I can.
Hello, my name is Dan Nold, and I'm the pastor at Calvary Church here in State College. In February of 2019, Calvary Church and Unity Church were in the midst of doing a joint Sunday morning series together, a teaching series on racial unity. My friendship with Pastor McKinsey and our partnership between the two churches, Calvary and Unity, has given us such important opportunities to learn and grow, to confess and grieve, to deepen friendships. The sermon series was simply another step in that journey. And then in March, just a few days after we finished our sermon series, Osaze lost his life. Two things remain very important to us at Calvary. Through the racial unity network that we started with Unity and just all individuals kind of going all in a number of these areas, two things remain important. We want to continue to work towards the healing of our community, and we want to just simply join with a family in remembering their son. On the second anniversary of Osaze's passing, we at Calvary Church are happy to support the high school scholarships for underrepresented low-income students who engage in community service like Osaze.
Thank you, Dan.
Excellent. I think that's really important. And I want to take a minute to invite the community. Maybe they don't realize that we are still doing this. We've been doing this for a couple years now. Unity Church and Calvary Church have embarked on a race and reconciliation mission. And we did actually launch that wonderful Undivided series. You can see it on our website, or I think even on my Facebook page, it's still there posted. They were wonderful joint series of pastors talking about race and reconciliation, how Jesus sees it, and what's biblically defined. And so I think these are important things that go hand in hand in our community, because as we realize this last 4 years, things have grown hostile and they didn't need to. And many of us are still disturbed by that. And all of the anger and the hate that's being directed now, even during the pandemic, to our Asian brothers and sisters is really awful as well. And so we want to speak out against these things. We want to interrupt those patterns, and we want to make sure that our silence is not violence. So do those good things, take that stance, help us to reform our community, join the NAACP. We have a membership. You can go online and do that. Come stand with us. And if you're not able to stand with people, support us. Send financial donations to keep programs like these going, keep our high school students going, replenish and restore things that have been disrupted or stolen from people who cannot afford to do so on their own. We are all out there doing something, and we ask you to come and join us to do it with us.
I know I want to put in a shameless plug as well, because you mentioned this, Leslie, and it got me thinking too that tomorrow at the gate, Allen Street gate at 6 p.m., there's a candlelight visual happening to support our Asian brothers and sisters during this time. So if you are able to show up 6 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday, at the Allen Street gate.
Absolutely. Come stand with us in solidarity.
Yes.
The struggle continues.
Yes.
And what affects one affects us all. So let's go back to our wonderful broadcast. And I think, Terry, we have Janet who wants to come and give us an update about the art auction. Is Janet Irons available?
I do not see Janet here.
You don't?
I don't see Janet. I see Janet in our chat box because Janet has been on our Facebook space, but I do see her in our chat box area.
Okay, well, we hope that Janet is going to log on, and when she does, we'll give her a moment to tell us and update us on those bids. It is a really interesting juggle today. We've never had so many technical difficulties with the stream today, but I imagine that, like we said, we're just going to roll with it and we're going to flow with it. We have some wonderful things. If we can't sell all those art pieces, they will remain available for you to bid on after our show through the end of the month. So through March 30th, you can bid on those art pieces. When the art pieces are gone, we will mark them sold and gone. But there are 15 pieces, including beautiful African baskets, the salad bowl set, server set, framed posters, and art pieces. So do take a look at our State College NAACP Facebook page and make those bids. You can also go online directly and make a donation at Center Foundation and support those scholarships today. I think we have also a guest speaker that's supposed to be coming, but I don't think they've arrived yet. And so we will continue moving on. We thank Calvary for their lovely donation, and we thank Pastor Dan Nold for his leadership and his contribution, and lovely wife Lynn Nold as well. So thank you. I understand from Molly that we also got a donation from Strawberry Fields. So I'm hoping that Molly will jump back in shortly and also give us an update.
Hello, I'm back. Yet Strawberry Fields donated. There are a couple others, and we just passed $4,000.
Whoa, nice.
Great progress.
30 minutes to go. 30 minutes to go.
Right.
What's our number? What's our number?
It's just over, I think it's $4,050. I don't have the specific.
$4,050. Come on, we can get to that 5,000 in 30 minutes.
We hit 4050. Again, our goal is 5,000. So we got less than $1,000 to go in a half an hour.
Yeah,
that's right.
We can do it, guys. We can do it.
We can. I'm going to go hug and I'm going to go tug on their heartstrings right now, because I have 4 fabulous high school students that I'm going to introduce who have put together a wonderful poem. So I'm going to invite Savita next up to tell us a little about Summer Somewhere. Thank you, Molly, for joining us, and we'll catch you back in about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Hey, Savita.
Hey, Leslie and Terry.
It's good to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping us work through Art for Justice. We are so excited that you're here with us today and helping us raise funds for the high school scholarship legacy. These children are our hope for the future. And we have an amazing reading. I think you said the author was Danez Smith.
That's right.
Got a poem entitled Summer Somewhere, and it's daring to imagine a glorious afterlife. Tell us a little more about that.
Well, I came across this poem. I was looking for for poetry written specifically about the tragic deaths of young Black males by the police, and I came across some wonderful pieces, but this one really caught my attention because of what you said, Leslie, that it imagines this glorious afterlife for all young Black men killed by police officers. Here, on Earth, when these tragic events happen to these young men, and many of them are just mere boys, they become statistics on databases that we see, flash on our screens, that we read in news articles. And although we're aware of the fact that, these boys have not had the chance to freely live out their youth, to really be boys, I think that when I read this poem, I was able to just feel that and visualize that so much more. So in this imagined paradise, the poet Dennis Smith gives our boys everything that they deserve: youth, happiness, freedom, an eternal life on a glorious and endless summer day, a chance to be who they were meant to be. And this powerful poem tenderly resurrects Black men murdered by police, giving them the grace and dignity that their unjust and untimely deaths took away from them. So we asked a few of our high school students to read this poem for us today. It appears, in a poetry collection called Don't Call Us Dead, that Dennis Smith wrote in 2017, and it was a finalist for the National Book Award. So Leslie and Terry, whenever you wish to broadcast the lovely reading by our teenagers, take it away.
Thank you, Savita. While Terry cues up that video, I'm just going to tell everybody that Kea, your beautiful daughter, is one of those wonderful students who contributed her voice to reading and lifting this poem. And she is a 17-year-old senior at State High. She serves as a speech captain for the State High Forensic Club. And this past fall, she competed in her 4th and final season, playing varsity doubles on State High's girls tennis team. And she also is a singing member of the State High Master Singers and the State College Children's Choir. And we love Kea. So I'm glad that she is here. She is also accompanied by my daughter, Alana, who is an 11th grader at State High and participates in the State High marching band. And she's also a Little Lion ambassador and a peer advocate at the high school. She also serves as a student government secretary, and she's active in the Spanish and Chinese clubs. We also have Kyra. Kyra is Anna's daughter, and we welcome her. She is a senior at Delta program, and she has participated in SCASD's Summer Social Justice Program for 2 years as a peer advocate. She's also a member of the State College Thespians and a master singer and a member of the National Honor Society. And finally, we also have Adonis, which is Sierra's son, who's 15 years old. He's a freshman at Delta, and he has served as a peer advocate for 2 years too. And he also co-facilitates the State College Student Voice Working Group. Terry, they are some inspiring high school students. Let's showcase that poem.
Well, I can definitely do that, and please do enjoy.
Somewhere a sun below, boys brown as rye play the dozens and ball, jump in the air and stay there. Boys become new moons, gum dark on all sides, beg, bruise blue water to fly, at least tide, at least spit back a father or two. I won't get started. History is what it is. It knows what it did. Bad dog, bad blood, bad day to be a boy. Color of a July well spent, but here, not earth, not heaven. Boys can't recall their white shirt turned a ruby gown. Here there's no language for officer or law, no color to call white. If snow fell, it fall black. Please don't call us dead, call us alive someplace better. We say our own names when we pray. We go out for the sweets and come back.
Come morning after we cipher, feast, hoop, we dig. A new boy from the ground. Take him out his tree box, shake worms from his braids. Sometimes they'll sing a trap god hymn. What a first breath. Sometimes they eyes who lead scanning for bone-fleshed men in blue. We say congrats, you're a boy again. We give him a do-rag, a bowl, a second chance. We send him off to wander for a day, or ever. Let him pick his new name. That boy was Trayvon. now called Rain King. That man Sean named himself I Do, I Do. Oh, the imagination of a new reborn boy. But most of us settle on alive.
Sometimes a boy is born right out of the sky, dropped from a bridge between starshine and clay. One boy showed up pulled behind a truck, a parade for himself and his wet red gown. Years ago, we plucked brothers from branches and peeled their naps from bark. Sometimes a boy walks into his room and then walks out into his new world, still clutching wicked medals. Some boys waded here through their own blood. Does it matter how he got here if we're all here to dance? Grab a boy, spin him around. If he asks for a kiss, kiss him. If he asks where he is, say gone.
No need for geography now that we're safe everywhere. Point to whatever you please and call it church, home, or sweet love. Paradise is a world where everything is a sanctuary and nothing is a gun. Here, if it grows, it knows its place in history. Yesterday, a poplar told me of Old Forest, heavy with fruits I'd call uncle, bursting red pulp and set afire, harvest of dark wind chimes. After I fell from its limb, it kissed sap into my wound.
Here everybody wanna be black, and is. Look at the forest as a flock of boys who never grow up, blooming into forever, afros like maple crowns, reaching sap slow towards the sky. Watch forest run in the rain, branches melting into paper-soft curls, duck underneath the mountain for shelter. Watch the mountain reveal itself a boy. Watch mountain and forest playing in the rain. Watch rain melt everything into a boy with brown eyes and wet naps. The lake turns into a boy, in the rain, the swamp. A boy, in the rain, the fields of lavender, brothers dancing between the storm.
If you press your ear to the dirt, you can hear it hum. Not like it's filled with beetles or other low gods, but like a mouth wrought with gospel and other glories. Listen to the dirt crescendo a boy back. Come, celebrate. This is every day holy, every day high holiday, every day new year. Every year days get longer, time clogged with boys. The boys, oh the boys, they still come in droves. The old world keeps choking on them. Our new one can't stop spitting them out.
Ask the mountain boy to put you on his shoulders if you want to see the old world. Ask him for some lean-in and you'll be home. Step off him and walk around your block. Grow wings and fly above your city. All the guns fire toward heaven. Warning shots mince your feathers. Fall back to the metalist side of the mountain. Cry if you need to. The word of laws rendered us into dark matter. We asked for nothing but our names in a mouth we've known for decades. Some were blessed to know the mouth. Our decades betrayed us.
There I drowned, back before once. There I knew how to swim but couldn't. There men stood by the shore and watched me blue. There I was a dead fish, the river's prince. There I had a face, and then I didn't. There my mother cried over me, but I wasn't there. I was here, by my own water, singing a song I learned somewhere south of somewhere worse. That was when direction mattered. Now everywhere, I am is the center of everything. I must be the lord of something. What was I before? A boy? The sun? A warning? A myth? I whistled. Now I'm the god of whistling. I built my Olympia downstream.
You are not welcome here. Trust the trip will kill you. Go home. We earned this paradise by a death we didn't deserve. I'm sure there are other heres, and somewhere for every kind of somebody, a heaven of brown girls braiding on golden stoops. But here, how could I ever explain to you? Someone prayed we'd rest in peace, and here we are, in a peace hole all summer.
I'm telling you, how moving was that, Savita?
It was just wonderful. They did such a great job, and it's just a beautiful piece that they, took to another level.
They did take it to another level, and I appreciate them, and I thank Terry for doing his technical support with the video. We try to work that out, but I think what's really impactful is to know how they felt, and those voices have to make it very real. That we hope that our children will be able to live out their academic dreams, their
Absolutely.
everyday dreams, even if they're not academic. How about the safety of being able to go out in the street and come home every day?
Absolutely.
So I think that's beautiful. Thank you for finding that beautiful treasure. Summer Somewhere. It was a wonderful poem. Thank you, Savita.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you later.
All right.
Terry, you
Wow.
have some sentiments, I'm sure. You have a son, and your son Isaiah has been amazing. He too found inspiration by hearing Osaze's story. And I think you told me that he went out and decided he was going to interview some police officers.
He did. He calls it reaching for the Skylar, because his middle name is Skylar. And he really wants to focus on looking at police understanding autism, and that's what's important to him. As someone on the spectrum, he really want to make sure that police interacting with folks on the spectrum understands certain things. And I even will go as far as saying is I recorded the first interview that he did, and he's really focused on the type of training that police get, and I think that's also important for our youth to be active.
Well, I think that's true. And I think we've heard from our college level, our high school level, and our community member students and our parents today, hearing about how important it is for the children. We often think that our children are shielded from these stories, and they aren't. They are silenced by these stories. They don't often get the opportunity to speak out about how it affects them personally. And so you need to champion and sit down with your children and ask them, what have they heard about this story? Osaze's story. What do you understand about it? Osaze was a young man. He wasn't a bad person. Osaze was in his home when he was shot by police. He was shot by police because they asked for help. So I think this is really important for people to think about that and how that affects their children and what they can do about it. Your young student, your young high school son decided that he could go help the police understand what autism looks like. I think that's a champion. That's an activist right there. And it's a small thing, but the police were receptive, which was good, and able to hear what a young student had to say, a Black male student. Now, it's important to hear about our lived experiences, but they are not to be chewed up and spit out. The police department has an opportunity right at their feet that has been presented to them, and they need to keep having those discussions, and they need to be reaching within themselves to see why they are reacting so quickly as opposed to de-escalating as a first tool. So I applaud Isaiah for thinking about their training. We are still working as a mental health task force to see what we can do to enhance the CIT training that they claim that they get. That's so wonderful. But as we know, all the training in the world isn't good unless you put it into action. So we need those active minds. We need your active donations. We need support for Center Foundation today, and those high school scholarships are on their way. We have 15 minutes to go on our broadcast, and we will check in. I think Janet is here to tell us how the bids are going on the art. I don't know if any of them have sold or if the technical difficulties have been achieved. Is Janet here?
Janet
Hi,
is here. How are you,
Janet.
Janet?
Hi.
Welcome, Janet.
It's been so exciting to follow these bids on Facebook. The technical difficulties are mostly on my side, but people have found the post. It's a couple of posts down from the top. It's the March 17th post. You go to the comment section, you expand the comment section, and all the pictures are there. And 9 of the 15 items have been bid on. And I have to say, when I look at the bids, they are global. They are Aboriginal, are in Australia. They are from South Africa. They're from West Africa. They're from Central America, and they reflect sort of the multi national feel that we have for people of color all over the world. It's just really, really exciting to see these pieces getting bid on. And I understand that when you win the bid, and you write that check to the NAACP, 100% of that money goes straight into Center Foundation. So it definitely adds to the total that we're trying to meet towards the 5,000. And instead of just a donation, you get a donation and a work of art. So I guess we have 15 more minutes before the end of the show, but we also, for those that don't sell, I understand that they will continue to be posted on the Facebook page.
Yes, thank you, Janet, for your drop-in, and thank you for letting us know that 9 of the 15 already have a claim, so they might just have a home. So we're going to encourage everybody, go on in your last 12 minutes and make a bid or make a direct donation to Center Foundation. Thank you, Janet, and we'll see you later.
Sure, bye-bye.
Terry, I think you said that we already have Felicia online. Get our colleague up here for a minute. We want to say hi to Felicia.
Hi, Felicia. How are you?
Hello, everybody. How are you?
We are glad to see you and glad to hear from you. We haven't seen you in so long. COVID has kept us all apart.
No, we're all like, away from each other and with our masks on. So I'm glad to be here in these last few minutes of this wonderful campaign to recognize and remember our dear Osaze Osagie and his family. And I want to encourage everybody, it's not too late to donate. The scholarship is going to lift up the lives of so many young people in our area. My family and I are committed today to supporting with 320, because 320 is the number that is going to live in our hearts and minds forever as a day where we grieve, but at the same time, we come together as a community. So please, if whatever you can help with, is going to bring us all together and be mighty and powerful, like the time we have spent together today remembering Osaze. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Felicia, for your poignant, in commemoration of Osaze's shooting, $320 donation to Center Foundation today. And we thank you for supporting the NAACP initiative today. And we thank you for your stance in the community. And we know that you're a proud mama of twin girls. And so
I have 3 beautiful babies. 2 of them are twins, and they're also part of this community. And our children are all our children, because we all know it takes the village. And
it takes a village.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I want to thank all of you, because I know many times you have been there for my children also, providing great examples of resilience and strength and love. And I love to be a part of this community. So thank you to everyone. It's not too late. Please join the cause of the Center Foundation and the NAACP, showing some love, not only for the memory of Osaze, for all of our young people that are trying to grow and learn and be strong.
Thank you so much, and have a great day. I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Indeed, we have 10 minutes to go for our 2-hour broadcast. Our goal is to raise $5,000. We are nearly there. I'm hoping that Molly will come and join us in about 2 more minutes and give us what our totals are. And I'm sure we are creeping up very slowly to that $5,000 mark. And I know that there are some charitable, wonderful folks out there who got my emails, got your phone calls, got your neighbors, shared a post, and I'm looking forward to it. Please push us. We have less than, I think, $500 to go. But I think Molly's going to come and give us that update. So
Molly's back. Molly hasn't left. She's been back since the whole time.
Okay.
Hey, Molly.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss out. I've been listening in on the fun. It's fun to be back.
Well, we are so excited to give a shout out to Sean Kennedy and Sarah Grace and Katie Marshall, who has helped push us to, what's the new total? 45?
$4,950. We need $50 to make our goal.
Who's giving me $50? Which one of you members out there at the NAACP haven't logged on yet?
I haven't yet, so I can pledge. I was going to pledge 100, but that
I'll take that 100. Go on and give it. I need to be over my $5,000 mark. Come on. You see, sometimes we have to pressure everybody. They forget. They say, yes, Leslie. Well, guess what? 9 minutes to go. Bring us home to that $5,000. Thank you, Molly and Center Foundation.
Thank you.
We appreciate you today. Thank you.
We are so excited to be a part of it and looking forward to crossing that $5,000 line.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Terry, I
Well,
think I have one more inspiring message that I wanted to share in honor of Osaze's legacy. I think we have hope for our future. We have all expressed this. Even in the middle of tragedy, there is triumph with the unity and the unifying of the community coming together to support our children, even our young poets. I think that's a really big landmark decision this year. We have our youngest poet, 22-year-old Amanda Gorman, our youngest poet laureate, whose inauguration poem, The Hill We Climb, lit up a nation in January. And I'm hoping that we can spend 5 minutes to quickly watch that poem.
yeah, that was a really powerful poem, and again, about one of our youngest. So by all means, I'll bring that up and enjoy Amanda.
That's right. And everybody, while we're watching this video, go make your last pledge and bring us to that $5,000 mark at Center Foundation. Your direct pledge makes a difference today. Thank you.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. In the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert. How could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens, but one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the wind-swept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Wow.
Only if we are brave enough to be it. Terry, are we brave enough to be it?
I think we are.
Where can we find light in the never-ending shade? What just is not always justice. My sister girl, I think there's every line of that poem everybody can echo and scream and shout.
Yes, and what I love about Amanda is that she is also open about her disability too. And I think when we talk about stigma, it is so important that we begin to break that stigma today. But yeah, that was definitely a beautiful poem. Okay, so I haven't put my donation in yet, and I was hoping to do it during the show. But my wallet is in the other room, so I have to grab it.
You're busted. See,
what a horrible excuse. But for you guys, I've been logged onto this computer since 8 a.m. this morning, and so I haven't had a chance to actually find my wallet. But when I do get my wallet, I will put my donation in as well. So,
all right.
But could we get we're at 2:00, and I know at 2:02.
Yes, we're stopping right now, and we're going to pause for our 2 minutes of silence.
Yes.
Because we want to honor Osagie, Osaze right now, and the Osagie family. And we want a moment of silence, and you have the wonderful reflection PowerPoint to show.
Yes.
Timer and PowerPoint, please.
Timer. You don't have a timer.
You're just playing the PowerPoint for 2 minutes, sir. and to wish you well. And
All
so
right.
we are returning, and we thank everyone for joining us today and for supporting Art for Justice and for making direct donations to the Center Foundation for the Osaze Osagie College Endowment Fund that will make scholarships and fulfill academic dreams for our racially underrepresented children in the State College School Area District, and to support their academic dreams to go on to college and higher vocational positions. We thank all of our local community supporters who came on and shouted out with us today and made donations. We are so excited and grateful. I believe your friend Sean Kennedy even made a donation today. So
That's
we
a
give him a shout out.
that's important. Though. I want to say something to that's really important because if people don't know about Sean Kennedy, he's a retired lieutenant out of Chicago, out of Chicago, and he's also a representative of National Association for Black and Law Enforcement Officers, also known as NAACP. So I do appreciate that.
Yes, we've caught him on your strategies for justice, and he speaks to the public regularly. And I look forward to seeing him
Yes.
at your symposium. I don't think you told everybody to be ready and register for your symposium in April, but I will let you drop that really quick.
Well, before we drop any more shameless plugs, I want to get a check in with Molly. Molly, do you mind coming on board? Hey, Molly, how are you today?
Hello. I'm doing great. Great job. What a wonderful event and so many wonderful moving moments. And to end with this really exciting news that you've crossed $5,000. You are now at $5,023. So great job.
$5,023.
And I haven't put mine in yet. This is great.
There you go. So
that's fantastic. That means we did our 2 hours. We
Yeah.
made our $5,000 goal.
Great
We're going
job.
to encourage our community to continue giving until we have endowed that scholarship and been able to award. I understand that if everything goes well, we should be able to award in fall.
Yep.
And so we are so grateful to the Center Foundation and all your work. And thank you, Molly, and thank you, Sierra, and thank you, Carrie, for working with us this week.
We're thrilled to have done it. And for anybody like Terry that doesn't have their wallet with them right now, they can go anytime online to the Center Foundation website and make a donation. So no need to have just done it during this 2 hours. You can do it anytime.
Absolutely. We still got a check coming from the NAACP for all those art auctions on those 15 items.
Exactly.
So if you're still out there, maybe Molly, maybe you'd like a piece of art. So
yeah,
we'll
I will go look.
and take a look, plug until the end. I think our colleagues and our partners in crime, the 320 Coalition, are going to continue the celebration downtown, live and in person. There will still be some sporting events, and there will also still be some concert and some music. Socially distanced, wear your mask, but join them down at the Allen Street gates as well for tomorrow's vigil. And we thank you all for joining us today for our lovely broadcast. So thank you, Molly.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We will continue accepting those donations today. Actually, it's going until March 30th. So please, if you haven't already, share, like, subscribe, tell the story. Share this wonderful broadcast with other people. Inspire your high school students. Inspire younger students to take a look. Inspire them to take action. Inspire them to write poetry, to read poetry. I think this will make a difference in building our community and restoring the harm that was done, and hopefully bring healing to all the families. We love the Osagie family, and we bless and wish you a wonderful recovery speedily. And we hope that you also have a favorable outcome of your civil suit case.
Yes. And with that said, thank you for sitting with us for 2 hours and being
7
a
minutes.
part of this, and 7 minutes, and being a part of this fundraiser. And I want to make sure that people are aware of the visual tomorrow at 6 p.m. again at the Allen Street Gate Bridge. The Allen Street Gate.
The Allen Street Gates. That's where we all go to meet and congregate and protest all summer long.
Yes.
We will be out there standing in solidarity tomorrow at 6 p.m. So be sure to come on out. And we thank you all for tuning in today. We encourage you and your youth to become members of the State College chapter of the NAACP. We are new, but as you know, the foundation of the NAACP has a long historical history for civil rights, and they've been around for a long time. Even though our local chapter is just up and coming, this is our March membership drive. So membership is only $30. You can go right online to the NAACP.org and you can sign online and ask to be a member of the State College chapter. We look forward to your membership. We look forward to your contributions at Center Foundation, direct donations to high school scholarships in our area. And we thank you all again for honoring Osaze's legacy and tragedy and triumph and the community joining together. So thank you all. And thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Leslie, my fellow co-chair.
Wouldn't do it without you.
Well,
Have a
with
great
that,
day, State College, and everybody else who's tuning in. Thank you, Janet and Savita, for joining us today. Thank you, Lorraine, and everyone else. Thank you, Kenneth Houston from the Allegheny chapter for NAACP. We're sorry that we weren't able to have the Mothers of the Movement, but we wish Iyun and Michelle Kenny well. Thank you so much again.
have a good day.